All right, in our Salem Media Group studios, Alex Lima is here. Alex, it's been a little while since you've been with us. Tell me what's going on with you.
Yeah, man, just trying to adapt and overcome with the times.
Right.
Just trying to basically survive through 2020, see what 2021 brings for us.
Crazy year, and of course, the challenges for all kinds of different businesses. Your business, gyms, training, fitness, man, really tough.
In particular, yeah, we took a massive hit as far as being able to operate at all. You know, and even now that they're allowing us to operate, I mean, you still have the people wearing the mask and the stigma of doing, I've always been heavy on sanitizing and everything anyways, but it's even more so. So, like my guys, they come in, everybody's getting a temperature check. We're using hand sanitizer coming on and off the mat. No sharing of equipment. Once it's yours, So
a new way to do things.
Yeah. We'll see if it's a better way. Let's find out. Yeah.
And then now you're going on location.
Yeah, so I do some mobile training as well. That's kind of been the main focus. But even though I'm not overly concerned with how COVID is turning now, we still want to expand and be able to reach different markets. So I'm keeping the actual in-house training to keep it to smaller groups so people feel comfortable. New clients coming in. And then also I'm doing off-campus training as well. So I could come to you and I can bring mats and I'll bring pads and weights and everything, kettlebells, whatever. And we can train whatever you want.
Very cool. One-on-one opportunity to get Alex right there with you directly. That's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be in your house, in your garage. We can move some spots, in your living room, or we can take it to a park nearby. Or you can come to me as well still.
Again, this is, we talk a lot on the show about self-defense because we want you to be prepared for any situation that might occur. But this is just good fitness as well. I mean, it's just something that keeps you in shape. It's fun. It's also a way to stay in shape.
It's the best. It's the best. I was talking with some guys the other day. We gave some guys a pretty good beating in the gym, and they were like, "Man, it's the hardest I've ever trained." And they're good athletes, you know. And the thing is, like when you're doing cardio, like you go to the gym, you're hitting some sets, or you go run around a lake, whatever it may be. You can pause. You can be like, I'll hit it in a second. Let me take an extra breath. You can't do that when a dude's trying to punch you in the face. Right. You cannot say, "Hey, time out. Let me breathe for a second."
No, I thought it's the same with wrestling. Anytime you're one-on-one, and you think that you're in good shape, but taxing your oxygen, man, right away you realize I need air.
It will test your metal. It definitely will. And the breathing is different, and that's something that's not really touched upon too much. Like, the breathing when you're lifting weights is, you're controlled breathing, very controlled. My breathing when I'm striking is very much,
right?
Little short bursts of breath. But then when you're grappling and you tie up, it needs to be.
Yeah, it's not.
And you have to switch gears in the middle of a fight.
Yeah.
When you break the breathing, it messes with your head some.
And then, of course, you're taking contact as well, so it can interrupt your breathing cycle as well.
For sure. A nice hit to the bread basket will change your breathing for sure.
And this is for everyone. You got kids, the girls, everyone's involved.
All walks of life. I have a method of training for everybody, from a high-level athlete to a mom that just wants to get a little bit of her fitness on, that's fine, to the person that maybe wants to do private lessons of just learning self-defense. Maybe they had a bad experience or something, and now they want to learn how to protect themselves.
I wanted to ask you about flexibility. I know it's been a larger and larger part of athletics across the board. From the time 25 years ago when it was all about weights and strength, it seems like flexibility has really come in. You guys are all about flexibility. I mean, it certainly helps you a ton in that field.
I always have been very big on flexibility. It's for me, it's one of the greatest attributes you can have. Most people, like, the average guy comes in, been weightlifting for a lot of years. He can throw a kick to the legs, but if I increase his flexibility, now that leg kick becomes a body kick and a head kick. Mm-hmm. So one weapon has now just become three.
Yeah.
And then I always talk about it as we get older. Your flexibility is going to be the attribute that you're gonna wish you had the most.
Yeah.
When you're a 90-year-old man, you're not going to care about a 250-pound bench press.
Absolutely not.
You're just going to want to be able to bend down and tie your shoe without throwing out your back. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So there's just no downside. Flexibility makes you a better athlete all around.
Now, I'm familiar with football stretch and different stretch for competition. Is there a unique stretch or a particular area of the body that you require maximum stretch?
Full body. I mean, everything. Our with martial arts specifically, your hip flexors a lot. You need a lot of hip dexterity and mobility, but everywhere. Because we're getting our arms cranked and twisted in strange positions. So. Well,
speaking of kicks, I know you saw the fight. What was it, a couple of days, a week ago, maybe?
Yeah.
The kid had a leg tied up and spun around. Now, if you're a martial arts guy, you're familiar with spinning back kick. It's like you want to do it. You've been dying to do it, right?
Yeah.
This guy's tied up and pulls it off. I was going to ask you, with one leg in the air, I'm not sure I understood exactly how that went down.
So It's it's cool. It's a highlight kick, but
Right.
it was also kind of like a Hail Mary, kind of lucky. That's not something that like he trains day in and day
Yeah.
out. Just kind of threw it. But what actually allowed him to land that kick was the fact that his opponent was holding onto his leg.
Yeah.
So that gave him the balance and stability to jump up, spin around. Why this guy is still holding him?
Oof.
To then, I mean, that's about as hard as you can get hit. That
Yeah.
spinning back kick like that is about the hardest hit you can
I don't know if you guys are familiar with what we're talking about. If not, go to YouTube, check it out. Who are the combatants? Do you remember?
It was in the UFC. I forget.
Okay.
It was actually weird because it was. I mean, not weird, but it wasn't like a main event. It was
Right.
like one of the undercard guys.
Yeah, it was just a
And,
stunning knockout. The way it unfolded, you want to see it. It's shocking. You haven't seen that kind of a kick to the head like that.
It's impressive. And again, that's I teach my guys like your side kick, which is essentially what it was, a spinning side kick, is like the hardest kick you can essentially throw to a human being because it activates all your leg muscles, your hamstring, your glutes, your quads, everything. It's like your leg pressing strength
And a lot of momentum in that spin.
the velocity. I mean, it's about as hard as you can get hit in a fight.
Yeah. I again, it took me by surprise when I saw it, just because I was like, wow, I didn't expect him to pull that off.
Yeah, definitely. The next time they do like the top 20 knockouts in the UFC, that one it'll be on the countdown.
Do you find with students that they're in a hurry to do something, they want to kick or do something besides just having the fundamental, idea of what you're doing out there?
Always, and that actually becomes the biggest dropout rate because I won't cater to somebody's ego, like what they want to learn.
Right.
Because fundamentals win more fights than that flashy stuff.
Oh,
If
yeah.
we do a pie chart and we see how many fights have been won by flashy stuff like that, it's a very, very small percentage compared to your basic cross, hook, punch, roundhouse, your fundamentals. They're the fundamentals and the basics for a reason. Just like any sport, you have to know the fundamentals because that's gonna get you more mileage.
Do you even start in a certain way? Do you progress before you go to the ground? Do you start teach them on the ground first and then up, or how striking?
Well, we're well-rounded. We're a full mixed martial arts program
Okay.
when I am teaching that stuff. So there is kind of like there's different levels. We do still follow like a belt system, and your beginner level, so like your white to yellow belts, they have a certain curriculum that I need them to know before they start getting into that spinning and fancy stuff.
Right.
But that going back to that I have a certain fundamentals and curriculum that they have to know for the striking game, for the wrestling game, and for the ground game. So there's beginner of each that you have to follow.
Okay. Now, one thing that didn't occur to me until I tried to do it myself is, in order to throw those kicks, you've got to have pretty strong feet and ankles. I don't know how you train pain tolerance for that kind of thing, but if you think you're just going to go up without ever kicking someone and you're just going to kick them with your shin,
You're in for a rude awakening.
wow, it's going to surprise you.
Yeah, so shin conditioning, and we do that for every part of our body. You'll watch a lot of the old school like Japanese karate guys punching something called a makawara board, like to toughen up your knuckles. Knuckle. I used to do that growing up as a kid, doing knuckle push-ups on bricks to tighten up, to make callus my my big two knuckles.
Absolutely.
That you should be hitting with. I used to train with some Muay Thai fighters that would go out back in the day when Clearwater Beach had the the concrete, the metal parking meters, the metal ones, and go out there and we would be ding, ding, ding. I mean, we weren't kicking full blast, but you're hitting enough.
It doesn't take a
We'd
lot.
get a glass Coke bottle and just start banging at your shins after class
my gosh.
because you have to develop that scar tissue because everybody at some point has taken a shot to the shin. We know how unpleasant it is. Think about it in a fight when you're throwing a 60-mile-per-hour kick coming like that.
I had an experience as a kid, just an aside, just to show you how sensitive that area is. New York, St. Patrick's Day parade. Police officer says, "Hey man, get back on the sidewalk." The guy's like, "I'll get on the side." Just a little. He just took a nice, just a tiny little tap on the face of the shin, and boop, dropped him like that. As a little kid, I was like, "How did he do that?" He knew exactly where to hit him.
Yeah, there's a lot of tough guys until they get hit in the shin good one time. Yeah.
What other areas? I know that there's certain spots that have a bigger impact on the jawline where the nerves erupt. They talk about a glass chin. It's really a fact that there's a nerve eruption where the nerves come through your jaw.
It's not even so much that. What really happens is the way that your head shapes. So our brain is floating in cerebral spinal fluid, right? And that just happens to be a focal point that when you hit it, it gives maximum bounce to what's going on inside. And that's why you get your concussions. That's why you can take a pretty solid shot to the side of the head. But here you get more spin and vibration going. You get your brain banging against the inner walls.
Have you seen fighters that get specific and try to target the unique areas like that?
We train for that.
Is that
My
right?
guys do. Yeah, absolutely. We got certain light switches that we're going for. A good fighter should be going. It's a waste of time to throw a punch and be punching you in the shoulder or the chest. I need to hit target areas that are going to cause damage and make maximum effect for what I'm trying to accomplish.
Wow. What other stuff besides strength? Do you guys just regular weight training, or is there any unique weight training or any kind of strength training?
So we take I'll throw some fundamental like your big three. I think is important for overall strength and development of the body. But it's a lot of functional and mobility type training. So I mix a lot of things, man. We do bands, we do kettlebells, a lot of
Right.
body weight. I'm very big on
Chin
being,
push up.
Oh yeah, working that pull up bar. I'm the
Yeah.
king on the pull up bar and push ups, man. That was my big game there.
Well, I don't know if you guys use medicine balls or heavy balls or anything like that.
We have slam balls. We got the slam balls,
What are
the
they?
ones that you throw.
20, 30, 40, something like that.
I try to get all the ones I have are around the 20-pound range.
Well, I'm going to ask you, Alex, to guess the weight of the largest pumpkin on display here in the state of Florida.
The largest.
What
in
do you
the
think it
state of
weighs?
Florida. Ooh, man, I don't know. I've seen some freakish ones like Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I'll say 100 pounds.
All right, well, you're close. 989 pounds. What? Yeah, it's Tampa residents that are looking to get in the fall spirit can visit the local farmers market at Bears Avenue. Family-run market is now home to Florida's largest pumpkin, 989 pounds. They actually purchased it at an auction and brought it down here to put it on display where visitors can come enjoy this during the holiday season over there by Lake Magdalene Boulevard, 1413 Lake Magdalene. 989 pounds, folks. That's a lot of pumpkin pie or whatever you do with pumpkins. Man, that's plenty of it.
That's a lot of pumpkin. If we could maybe set it up when they're done with this little festival, I'd like to see how many hits it takes for me to break through the skin.
You can imagine how many kids want to drop that or push it off that. They can't wait to see that thing blow
I
up.
want to bust through it. I want to punch that thing till it busts open.
All right, we got about a minute left. Alex Lima, how can folks who are interested in training, again, folks, it could be your kids, it could be you. There's no age limits. There's no physical barriers. What's the best way to get in touch with you?
So you can call me 813-426-1588, or you can find me on all social media platforms. Google Black Belt Fitness and Martial Arts Club. Instagram is at @blackbelt_jitsu. I have a lot of free content on my YouTube channel, self-defense wise and stuff. And that's Black Belt Jones Adventures in Manhood.
Now, you, in addition to the dojo, you go to them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I go. I'm in the process right now of working out, doing seminars throughout the state. So I'm going to start going and teaching kind of my trade secrets.
He's Alex Lima, Black Belt Fitness. Make sure you get in touch with him. Again, it's about self-defense. It's a great idea. You feel safer. But what about getting in shape? What about your kids? All that stuff. It's all good. Alex is a great partner on the show. Get in touch with him, Black Belt Fitness. Thanks so much for tuning in today to the Consumer Quarterback Show. I want to thank Brandon Rhymes for giving me the opportunity to sit in for him. I want to send a healing vibe out to Brandon. And I want to make sure you guys check us out anywhere in the world, www.consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.